Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode in my Football Manager series. This is episode number 43, I do believe, and today we have the start of Season 6 with Swansea with a Community Shield against Manchester City. But before we play that game, though, I'm going to show you the transfers and how the Swansea side is looking going into our 6th season, which potentially could be our final one, and I'll explain why in just a moment's time. So as we go into our 6th season in charge of the Welsh side, there have been quite a few players that have left the club, but no real major departures from the Liberty Stadium going into Season 6. Quite a few players left on free transfers, most notably Liam Edwards, who you may have remembered played a couple of games for us in the Cups, but to be honest, even though he was one of Swansea's better young prospects, like Liam Cullen and like Daniel James, he never really did much out on loan, and so because of that, I decided to let him go, and I don't really have any problems with that. But also as well, there were a couple of main departures. One player though that I just want to touch on real briefly, Jamie Lockhead has gone to West Ham on loan, but he's coming back tomorrow. I made a stupid error with this, but basically Lockhead right now is homegrown only with Rangers, but if he stayed here until October, a week before his 21st birthday, he can get the trained in club homegrown status for us. So I sent him out on loan, then realised my error, so I had to bring him back really quickly. So basically I've got between now and in a week's time in order for him to become homegrown. So come October he'll be homegrown here, and then straight after that we'll loan him back out again, as we don't plan on using him just for now. But to be honest, we do need to worry about homegrown ruling, so the more players we can get the better. So sending him out on loan was stupid. He's gone to Upton Park for pre-season and now he's coming straight back. But still, following that anyway, you can see there were two main departures worth talking about real quickly, but no really major sales. But Kieran Trippier has left the club. One of my first ever signings as Swansea manager, Kieran Trippier. He came in way back in Season 1 in the January transfer window for just £3.7 million, and I must say, he always did really well for us. He then lost his place to Hugo Mayo season before last, and he never got it back. Last season barely played for us, so because of that, I decided to let Trippier go to Leicester, and as you can see, we sold him for £3.4 million, so didn't even make a major loss, and he's also 29 years old too, so totally fine with that sale. And Stephen Corker as well, he went for £5 million, I think it was. Corker, not a bad backup centre-back. In the first season was first choice, but in the second season, only one game in the league and a 5.10 rating. It's safe to say that Stephen Corker was not part of my long-term plan. So Leicester came in £5 million, only £1 million less than what we bought him for. So once again, another sale to the King Power Stadium there for a backup player, and we didn't make a major loss on him either. So yeah, totally fine with those sales. And as we come into the signings as well, I must say, you guys know we didn't get too big of a budget, and I'm not entirely sure I made some good business here. I'll let you guys criticise me in the comments, but just, you know, let me explain. So the first player we're going to start off with then is Adrian, the Spanish goalkeeper, formerly of West Ham, and he's come in on a very cheap deal indeed. He only cost us £135,000. Timo Horn last season lost Berisha as his backup goalkeeper, then Billy Mitchell came in on loan. We haven't been able to get him back though on loan, so because of that we needed a backup goalkeeper, and Adrian comes in on a really cheap deal. He'll just be here to keep the bench warm, and again, not the best of signings, but for £135,000, that's pocket change really. We're okay with that. And the second guy I signed actually agreed to join us during last season, but I forgot to show you guys who he is. But his name is Maharim Karaman. Not entirely sure if that's how you pronounce that, but he's an 18-year-old right back who we signed, and you look at him right now and you think, wow, you definitely got a player for the future there. How much did you pay for him? Surely not a lot. Well, actually he cost us £6 million. £6 million for an 18-year-old right back, and with clauses it could get to £10 million. He's got an awful lot of potential, and I really do like the look of the guy, but did we need him, and should we have spent £6 million on him? No, we didn't have much of a budget for this season. Well, we all know the answer to that question. So Karaman comes in, he's got a lot of potential, he's got a lot of time to develop at just 18 years old, and also as well, he could potentially become homegrown if we keep him at the club and don't loan him out, and he does stay here for an extra 3 years. He comes in for £6 million, and again, has a lot of potential, does look really good as an 18-year-old, but again, our budget is so small, I don't think I should have spent £6 million on the guy, but of course I didn't know we were going to get such a small budget for this year. This happened during last season. But anyway, Karaman comes in, and again, he could be really good in the future. That's why I was drawn to the guy. Hopefully he does succeed here, and he could be a really good long-term replacement for Hugo Mayo. And I've made 4 signings in total, and this is the third of the 4, and probably my best deal of the window as well. Callum Chambers has joined Swansea, and I must say I'm very pleased with this deal, and I'll just say that I'm glad I'm waited as well, because I've been keeping my eye on this guy throughout this entire series. He moved from Arsenal to Liverpool for £12.75 million. But the truth is, he was never a first-team player at Anfield. He was never regularly in the first 11. So I felt as though we could possibly get him on the cheap. And for £9.5 million, last season I could have bought him, but he would have cost us double that. So what a fantastic decision it was to wait until this year. We get him for £9.5 million. The best thing about Chambers is there's a natural playing right back and centre back as well. He can play a little bit further forward and also left back too. This guy is very versatile. He's a decent utility player. He's got some really nice well-rounded stats. Physical is very balanced. Mentals are still quite good as well. And technically looks pretty solid at the back. As a defence-minded player, I must say I'm very, very happy with this signing. And after selling Kieran Trippier for a few £1 million to bring in Callum Chambers for just a few £1 million extra, I think that's a brilliant piece of business. So Callum Chambers comes in. I'm not sure whether I'll play him right back or centre back this season, but he'll certainly play for us regardless in the first 11. If not, then definitely on the bench. But he looks pretty decent. I'm glad he signed for us. And I think he will be a really smart signing. For £9.5 million, it's a really good deal. And as we move into the fourth and final signing, I will let you guys know that I made a bit of an error with this deal. It's probably going to be looked upon by you guys as a really, really bad signing and a massive overspend. But anyway, I'll show you who it is regardless and try and justify why I've signed him. It is Karim Rakik. Is that how you pronounce that? A former Manchester City defender and also formerly of Marseille, where we bought him from. Now, he's a Dutch centre-half. He's left-footed, 25 years old right now and 6'1" as well. I'm sure you've heard of the guy before. A very decent young prospect in world football. Defensively is very, very solid, and the truth of the matter is this season we knew that we needed to tighten up a little bit. Last year our problem was not scoring but conceding, and I was thinking about getting a new goalkeeper for Timo Horn, but do you know what? I really like Timo Horn. I just want him to succeed here. I know he had a bad season last year, but I do believe in him guarding our goal. So because of that, I thought I'd look for a new centre-back instead, and Rakik was probably the best option I could get for the fee, but it was quite an expensive one. £22 million, and that's not the worst part of it. There's a clause where if he hits 50 league games for us, which I'm sure he will, we'll have to give Marseille an extra £9 million and send that to the Stade Velodrome, and they'll be loving life because that'll take the fee to £31 million in total, and that'll make him our most expensive signing ever, £1 million over Esposito's fee, which is £30 million. So yeah, Rakik comes in. It is an expensive deal, but I really do like the look of this guy. You know, I really, really do. Technically, very, very solid. He's got the magic treble, all for 15 or over in marking, tackling and heading as well. Mentally, not too bad. Physically, very, very decent indeed. And I feel like he'll really help us tighten up this year. Have him alongside Marlon on the right, Rakik on the left. Vezo didn't do badly last year, but this guy is definitely a step up, at least in my opinion. So Karim Rakik comes in. We spent, I think it was £37 million, and there's still a few weeks left of the August transfer window as well. Summer transfer window, I should say. We've got a tiny bit of money left over. We might make one or two more signings, but those are the four main ones, and I really hope this year they will all contribute and do really, really well for us. And this is how pre-season went as well. One thing to show you straight away is that Ashley Williams got a testimonial, which was kind of interesting because apparently I could have done this a couple years ago when I was arranging a friendly though for it. It was always grayed out to use for testimonial part, but Ashley Williams got a testimonial. He played against Rangers in this game as well. I don't know if you can bring back former players for testimonials, but I, like an idiot, forgot to change the settings where I can play the friendlies instead of leave it to the assistant manager, so they just used our normal first team. But either way, Ashley Williams got a testimonial, didn't score or anything, but played okay and kept a clean sheet, and he's retired as well. Literally directly after the game, I offered the guy a coaching role and he said yes. So Ashley Williams, Swansea's long-serving captain, the skipper, the guy that I was inherited with as my captain. He always did a stellar job for us, but the truth of the matter was he wasn't ever going to do too much for us. He had a couple of loan spells last season. He was basically done here, to be honest. He was nowhere near good enough for this Swansea side. So I said, Ashley, do you want to become part of the furniture? He said yes. He's now an under-18s coach, and I'm very, very happy with that. So yeah, Williams is retired, and that's worth noting. So for this season, we will have a new captain and vice captain. But these are the friendlies regardless. We won most of them, but then in our random cup, we lost both our games on penalties. First to Real Madrid and then Red Bull Salzburg. And in today's episode, we do have a Community Shield against Manchester City as well, who won the league last season. But the reason I did say that for this year, it could be my final one in charge. And I know I said that a couple of times, but you guys can justify why I'm fearing the worst for this season. These are our aims for Season 6 with Swansea. Now, you thought last season were pretty tough, having to qualify for the Europa League and reach the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Check out these aims that Hugh Jenkins has given me. Qualify for the Euro League in the Premier League. I think we can do that. Reach the first knockout round in the Champions League. That's going to be very hard. In the FA Cup, we've got to reach the final again. And in the Capital One Cup, we've also got to reach the final. So last season, the Capital One Cup was not important to the board. This season, we've got to reach 2 cup finals in domestic cups. That's ridiculous. And reach the first knockout round in the Champions League, whilst also qualifying for at least the Europa League for next season from the Premier League. Thank God the Community Shield is not important. I was expecting Hugh Jenkins to say you got to win it 5-0 or something. But this is crazy, man. Such strong aims. And I must say, I am fearing the worst coming into our 6th season because, don't get me wrong, I feel like I've done a stellar job with Swansea over the years, but these aims are absolutely ridiculous. And I'll just say right now, there is no way we meet all 4 of these. Absolutely no way. Last season we surpassed expectations. There is no way we meet all of these. I think we can possibly reach a final again, possibly, and I do believe we'll qualify for the Europa League, but reach the first knockout round of the Champions League, our debut year with Swansea in the Champions League, and reach 2 domestic cup finals. That is a lot to ask of me, so I'm pretty frustrated about that. Those are some really tough aims. I'm not sure I will meet them, but still, also worth noting as well, so I get rid of this homegrown status here, Sam Redmond has signed a new contract for us as well, a 5-year deal. He was wanted by Arsenal, Chelsea and Spurs and United, I think it was, but he signed a new 5-year deal. He's staying, and also been given a number 4 shirt from now on, as he's too important to wear the number 30. So Redmond signed a new 5-year deal. That's great, and this is how our side does look going in to the 6th season even as well with Swansea. So Season 6 will start today, then the Community Shield against Manchester City. I like our side. I like it. I think it's good, but can we meet all of those expectations? I'm not entirely sure. Either way, Community Shield for our first game of the season against Manchester City. It will be great to get our 2nd trophy in 2 episodes in this series, but I'm not entirely sure. But this is the team regardless for the game, and probably the team I'll run with for the entire season if I can. So Timo Horn starts in goal. Let me catch my breath for a second. Okay, so as we go into the first game of the episode then, the first and only game of today's episode, we do indeed take on Manchester City here at Wembley for the Community Shield. This is the team for the game. We're sticking with the 4-4-2 you guys are all too familiar with, and this is probably the team I'll have for most of the season if we can keep all these players fit and suspension free. So Timo Horn starts in goal, back 4 of George, Rakik, taking Ashley Williams as number 6, Marlon and Callum Chambers, who starts ahead of Hugo Mayo. I don't know who I want as our first choice right back for the time being. We'll give it to Chambers. In midfield, Sisto on left, Bentancur on the right, and in the middle, Sam Redmond and Pep. Up top together, Barbosa and Esposito, and on the bench, Adrian, Ruben Vezo, Hugo Mayo, Joe Allen, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Mahrez, and Callum Wilson as well. So our resis right now are Lingard, Davies, Pereira, Cullen, and Franca as well. I don't think that our side has got worse from last season, that's for sure, but it hasn't got significantly better, at least that's my opinion. I think it's got marginally better with the signings of Rakik and also Chambers as well, but it's not that much better. And of course, we've lost Julian Brandt as he was on loan here last season. So yeah, it's not a bad team, but can we meet all of those aims? I highly doubt it still. So going to the first game of today's episode, then the first and only game of today's episode, we do indeed take on Manchester City. Thank God the board don't deem this this Community Shield important, but either way, we still would like to win it. It'll be great to get off on a winning start. Can we do so? Let's hope so. Come on, Swansea. And so as we begin the Community Shield, once again, this competition not important to the board, thank God, but it still would be very nice to win it and get off to a winning start for Season 6, but it will be quite difficult, and it could have been very difficult as Gareth Bale hits the woodwork early and Sisto heads it behind for a corner. Truth of the matter is, coming into this season, I talked about our aims very, very well in depth, really. We know it's going to be tough this season, and I do believe we will qualify for the Europa League minimum in league, and in fact, I'll go as far as saying we should definitely still be targeting the top 4 place, but it's those cup aims that really frustrate me, and also in the Champions League as well. It's going to be very, very tough for us, and also I should have pointed out as well, our qualifier is against Zenit, and you'll see the second leg in the next episode. I'll play the first leg off camera, and then come back for the second leg as well, which I do believe will be the home ties. Hopefully we can get through that. It'll be pretty embarrassing if we do go out without even reaching the group stage, but still, the second highlight could possibly come here as Chambers finds Bentancur through towards Pep. Can we get our first chance of the game? Esposito on the ball, takes it round his man. Good show of pace by Esposito, tackle by Otamendi though, and City get the ball back. But it's given away by the goalkeeper straight to Sam Redmond, through towards Sisto, now Pep through towards Esposito, who finds the back of the net, gets in. This guy loves playing at Wembley, a hat-trick in the FA Cup final, and also opens to score here at the Community Shield as well. They played the ball back towards the goalkeeper there, and he just kicked it straight towards Sam Redmond, the interception king. Basically didn't need to do any work for that one, it came straight to him. He found Sisto played it through towards Pep, lovely quick little football there, in towards Esposito, who finds the back of the net and puts us 1-0 up. Great start, despite City hitting the woodwork. We lead 1-0 Swansea. Well done, the Italian Stallion. And here is Pep for us here, just after the restart. Benska receives the ball down the right-hand side and crosses to the centre, and Barbosa could get there, and he does, and makes it 2-0. Get in. Bang, bang. It's City 0, Swansea 2. Oh, for God's sake, how many times Barbosa's ruled out for offside? That was a hilariously bad piece of goalkeeping there, as he came for the cross, got nowhere near it, and Barbosa must have just strayed a fraction offside. I thought it was on, to be honest, but maybe I need to go to spec saves. It's still 1-0. How many times does that happen? I start celebrating, and then we see the goals disallowed for offside. So still 1-0. City could equalise here as Semedo's cross is dealt by Marlon, only temporarily, and Bolo finds Ceballos here as they try and carve out a chance. Raheem Sterling is now on the ball, and the former Liverpool band takes it round his man, and Hall makes a great save at his near post, and we scramble the ball away. Good stop there by Timo. I'm trusting him for this season. Could have replaced him, decided against it. Good save. Still 1-0. And as we've just gone past the hour mark, we still lead by a goal. Wasn't the best half, and to be honest, we've played pretty poorly in this game. Only one shot, and that was, of course, our goal. We still do lead by a goal. Can we hang on to it, though, with just over 15 minutes to go? Here's a corner for us. Sisto takes it, crosses towards Marlon, who flicks it down towards Esposito. Get in! This guy loves Wembley. It's his second home, and it's Manchester City 0, Swansea 2. We haven't done much in this game, but what we have done is find the back of the net twice. Sisto crosses to the far post, Marlon flicks it down, and there is Esposito, who rifles it in. I think it might have clipped the inside of the post, and it's a shame that the board don't care about this competition, because it looks as though we're going on to win it. City 0, Swansea 2. Well done, the Italian again. But City could get themselves back in the game very late on here with João Mario on the ball. Finds Fernandes down the right side, inside towards the number 34. Back towards Fernandes still. Sisto is jockeying, but Fernandes finds Bale here. Still a chance as Bale goes for goal. Oh, what a strike by Gareth Bale. And the Welshman has halved the deficit. Manchester City 1, Swansea 2. Sisto was jockeying Fernandes. He played it back towards Bale. I thought there was no threat here, but Gareth Bale rifles it in, and Timo Horn is beaten. Do I criticise him for that one? Well, I'm not entirely sure. It's a great strike though. It's 2-1, and now I'm beginning to swear. And unfortunately, there is another highlight here, and I may well have spoken too soon about going on to win the Community Shield, but Pep dispossesses Bale. Well done. Through towards the man of the moment, Esposito, and Otamendi dives in, and that should be the second yellow card for him, and the South American is surely off. There we go. Otamendi receives his second booking, and the former Valencia defender is dismissed, and it is still 2-1 to Swansea. Good stuff. They're down to 10 men, and come on, we can't let this slip now. We should see this out. And that will do it then. Final score, Manchester City 1, Swansea 2, and we win the Community Shield. Very pleased with that. Of course, it's not the trophy we want to win. We won the FA Cup in the last episode to end Season 5, but we still got the win. I'm very, very pleased with that. We barely ever beat Manchester City, so I'm very, very pleased to get the win, if nothing else, to make sure that we can possibly show that we're good enough to beat City. And yeah, it's a pretty decent win for us. We didn't play very well, but we got the win. That's the most important thing. Rakit played well in his debut, 7.3. James got a 7.0 as well. Not too bad. And again, Esposito, he just loves Wembley, doesn't he? With 2 goals that won us this game. So final score, Manchester City 1, Swansea 2. Otamendi came from Valencia. Surely he did. Yeah, I knew he did. What am I talking about? So yeah, what am I talking about? No, I was right. But anyway, City 1, Swansea 2. That was the final score. And I'm very, very pleased we do indeed win. So yeah, it says here that Swansea celebrated double. We won the Community Shield and the FA Cup this season. That's not right. We won the FA Cup last season, but we don't mind. It's the first time that Swansea have won a Community Shield. I continue to make history for Swansea. First the FA Cup, now the Community Shield. This year the Champions League? Probably not, but you never know. Still, Lockhead's back from his loan. That's good. That means he can still get his homegrown status when it comes down to October. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased to get off to a winning start in Season 6. It's going to be a tough season for us, we know that, but at least we got some silverware. It's the right way to start. Start as you mean to go on. A really good beginning. And that will end the first episode of Season 6 in my Football Manager series, guys. So a big thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it. I shall return with games against Everton and then Zenit in our second leg of the Champions League qualifier, where hopefully we'll be celebrating progressing through to the group stages. Otherwise, already, Hugh Jenkins may possibly give me the sack, considering how strong our aims for this, our 6th season. But thank you for watching the episode regardless, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please leave a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you for the next episode in my Football Manager series very soon. What am I showing here? Why do I keep on clicking on things?